What is up? Welcome to this week's episode of Lambgoat's Vanflip podcast. Today I'm joined by none other than Fuming Mouth's Mark. Is it Whalen? Whalen? How do you pronounce
Whalen.
it? Whalen. All right, I got it on the first go. That is a rarity for this podcast. So, Mark, welcome to the show, buddy. I know you had a busy last couple of years, and we'll get into it. But how you doing today?
Dude, today's cool. My friend Tara's visiting from the United Kingdom. She's hanging out with me and my fiance. And yeah, today's a good essay. Just chilling.
Nice. And you're still in the Massachusetts area, Boston area, or is that?
Yeah, I'm in Boston right now. Right now I'm at an Airbnb in Woburn.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I know you guys are getting ready to go on tour again. I think you got a tour coming up with Final Gasp and who's the headliner? Masters of Master
Devil Master.
Devil Master. There it is. Yeah, I fucking was halfway there. You also have a couple singles that you guys have released recently in the near past here, I guess we'll call it, because this is going to come out in a couple weeks, 2 weeks or so. And then around this time, I guess your new album is coming out as well. The second follow up to your first length, or to your first full length. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Oh God, where is that coming out of? Don't tell me. I will remember it. No, I won't. Okay.
It comes out Last Day of Sun, our second full-length album by Fuming Mouth, comes out November 3rd on Nuclear Blast.
Nuclear Blast, that's what it was. Yeah, I knew it was November 3rd.
Yeah.
I'm halfway there. There's a lot of stuff going on in the metal world you got to keep up to date with, especially on these podcasts. And I'm doing like 4 of these this week, so it's crazy.
Dude, I feel like it's this season, you know what I mean? There's like so much good music coming out right now, and so much music coming out.
I agree.
Put good aside, and just like, you know what I mean? You can't even a lot of the times differentiate between good and bad because there's so much coming out.
I agree. Is there anything that you're listening to particularly, like new bands new albums that you've kind of dug the last couple months?
Today, this band Life Sick just put out a new song. I'm featured on it.
Yep. They just got signed to Metal Blade.
They just signed to Metal Blade, and then I know Todd Jones from Nails and Terror. He's on a track too, and yeah, they're an awesome band. And that's their first single for Metal Blade, and I think everything they got coming out is going to be really, really good.
Nice. Are you more into? I know you are from the death metal background for the most part, but do you kind of moonlight a lot more these days in different genres that you listen, like on a regular day listen, like an everyday listen type thing?
No, I have a pretty wide range of music I listen to. I mean, it's definitely like outside of metal. It's definitely inside of metal. I can really deep dive a lot of Metal Archives reviews and demos.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it really depends. What am I listening to today? Is it raining? I'm going to listen to Cold Cave. Okay. Or am I going to go for, I don't know, something like something like Lifesick, how they just came out with a new song, and it's like, you know how a new song is with that, or any new music that comes out, you know what I mean? You got to check it out. It's cool.
Yeah. Well, I know you've had a long road back to just being normal, kind of, or whatever you would call normal these days. I don't necessarily know where you're at in your road to recovery, but, you know, let's just get into it. I know late 2021, you got the call, or you kind of, you know, got word that you were sick in more ways than you thought.
Yeah, I was diagnosed with leukemia.
Yeah, and that's the blood cancer, and luckily you had not a really horrid case of it, you know, but also, although you did have to get a bone marrow transplant and all the treatments to do with that. So let's kind of run through that in a really brief segment here, you know, that history. So, you know, you're not feeling well and you go to the hospital, and then, you know, you take it.
Dude, I mean, yeah, I was, I got just diagnosed. I felt sick. I thought, you know, what was the flu? Got instead of, you know, when you have the flu,
mm-hmm.
you just or any kind of sickness, you have a fever, and it starts to get, you know, just better and better as the days go on. Mine just got worse and worse. And then I went in, and you know, it wasn't like this moment where we have to rush him to the hospital. You know, I went in, and I just wasn't able to leave, and they kept saying I couldn't leave because of one thing that led to another, and I just had to get, they had to do hundreds of tests on me, and then eventually it just came back that I was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia. And it's considered like a intermediate risk, so it's not
fun. It's not fun.
No, it wasn't fun for a second, but it was something that could be solved and treated, and we went right to it. And then I'd say like right after that, it was just trying to figure out how to get a bone marrow transplant.
Yeah.
And then I got bone marrow transplant in 2022, March 2022, and then ever since then I've just been recovering, and honestly feeling better every day until like 2 weeks ago. I still have like, it's so weird. I feel good, but I have like still like liver issues and shit. Like I have a wicked bad liver. So
is that from the treatment or from
the
disease? Okay.
It's specifically from treatment, or it's from the transplant. And right now it seems like I'm just on too many like medicines and stuff, like, that's carrying over from residually that's carrying over from my treatment. And that's what's causing a lot of my liver issues. So besides that, I mean, I'm playing guitar, I'm playing shows, I'm like hanging out with my friends, I'm doing stuff. I'm kind of killing it right now, dude. I don't know.
It's not hindering you really. It's just there. It's just a part of your everyday life.
It's like my friend Ryan from High Command says it. He's like, it's like going to like the DMV or some shit like that. I just gotta go in and like just register, just make sure, or going to the mechanic, you know what I mean? Like making sure the car is working. That's it.
Yeah. Has it changed? Has like that situation changed how you approach like your everyday life? Like, do you?
Oh yeah. Dude.
Do you eat better? Did you give up any of those bad vices people have, along the lines that they pick up in life? Like how's that changed?
Because I am still living in it, even though I'm saying that. So like my diet is like, I'll get better, and then like I'll be like, fuck this, and then I'll just like eat whatever I want. So I don't know if you could say, I don't know if I could say it one way or another.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to give up, the bad foods. Or I think didn't I hear that you weren't allowed to eat like raw foods too for a while, and that included like vegetables and just other things like that. So there was like a large part of your diet that was like just taken out. So I could see how you're like, fuck it, dude, give me what A, B, or C.
I just went to this place called the Friendly Toast. It's like there's a bunch of locations around Boston. If you're ever in Boston, go to the Friendly Toast. It's amazing. And I just got the big like double egg sandwich and with like bacon. So, and my girl's vegan, so that's like it's like rough. The opposite of what she's in. But if you are vegan though, they have tons of vegan food too. It's shout out to the Friendly Toast.
Nice. God, I want to ask you about that, but we'll get into the vegan non-vegan relationship later, because that seems like it could be testy at times when you're picking out what to eat on Thursday, Friday nights or something like that, and letting her you pick,
for sure, dude. I fuck with vegan food too.
I mean, I'm assuming you would kind of borderline have to at this particular point. It's like probably a bulk of your diet, just because you're not because of your situation, just because of
your partner is, because definitely. But I'm down. I'm so down.
Nice.
Kurt Ballou is vegan, bro.
Yeah. I mean, dude, a lot of people in the hardcore metal industry are definitely in that group of dieters. So for sure, there are a lot of people that are vegan, vegetarian, and there's a lot of people that just eat meat. I've done that for a quarter of my time here on the world.
Yeah.
That's a fun one. That's also a hard one, but it's harder than you would think to eat all meat all day. I don't know if you've ever tried it.
I haven't.
Carnivore diet. Yeah, it's different. It's different. You definitely get a lot tireder as the day goes on, because you're not like having sugar or carbs. So that's good for me, because I have this thing where like I ingest sugar probably way too much, whether it's soda or some kind of food item like candy or something that's baked or like a baked good or something like that. And I feel like I stay up all night. And when I was on the carnivore diet for that time period, I felt like, damn, I'm falling asleep 10:30, 11 o'clock and waking up like way earlier than I've ever woken up before. But that didn't last long, obviously, so I snapped right out of that.
Yeah.
So, second record, I mean, a lot of that's probably about, your battle with the leukemia and everything like that. When did you guys start? When did you start? Or how should I preface this? I know you are kind of like the main driving force, or were the main driving force behind Fuming Mouth in the writing process. And that's how the band kind of started, was kind of like a quote unquote like solo project for you, just to kind of get some stuff out. And then, you started taking it more seriously and this, that, the other, doing tours, blah, blah, blah.
No, you got it. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So the second album, do you start writing that prior to getting the diagnosis, or like after everything's said and done?
I wrote it before I got diagnosed.
Okay. So
we recorded 8 songs, with this dude Charlie Corinne. He's the drummer of Morbid Angel and Incantation,
mm-hmm.
and that was what was going to become the Last Day of Sun. And then we booked our time with Ballou at God City, December 2021, and then 3 weeks before that, I got diagnosed. So it was written before I got sick, but then I had so much time in the hospital. Once I went outpatient, was waiting out of the hospital and had to wait to get back into the hospital. I would just play guitar all day. And a lot of it changed. I just started moving around things, just out of being bored.
Yeah, just picking what I mean? Just nitpicking it. Yeah, for sure.
Not even nitpicking it, dude. I genuinely mean being bored and just like sitting there with my guitar and having nothing to do. And then like eventually, by the time I got back together with the band, it was like, oh, well, no, this part should go like this now, and this should go like this. And I realized, I'm like, oh, wow, I just changed a lot of this. So, it's not like it was never written about cancer or anything. It was written before we released the Grand Descent, or the title was, the first riff was, and the last song was. And like, because right when I finished the Grand Descent, I thought, I'm like, I just fucked up. That is not how you record an album. This was the first album I ever recorded. It is a fucking mess. And, but for lack of a better word, we'll call it like a happy accident. But I was really focused on making like a cohesive album, an album you can listen to where every song is different. Or even if you're coming to the album and you don't like death metal, you're gonna find a song you like. If you're coming to the album and you only like death metal, there's going to be a song you like. Yeah. So either way, that was always the goal. Instead of just slamming people with fat riffs soaked in HM2 to really try and bring in dynamics. I hate using that word, but like, because I hate when corny ass bands are like, oh, we're more dynamic, we brought this in. No, you didn't. You suck. Yeah. And like this is a lot more like, there's just like, there's more solos, there's more standout riffs. Instead of there being 5 breakdowns, there's one breakdown where you're like, that's the breakdown. And that's in the song Burial Grounds. Okay. I'm really excited for that one to come out.
So it's kind of like less crossover-y vibes, like less like hardcore crossover vibes, like more death metal oriented.
No, but there's crossover vibes. There's
not as many breakdowns, not as many breakdowns kind of thing, like you were just saying.
But that one breakdown is so fucked up. That's what I'm saying. So it's like that. It's like it's undisputed that one breakdown is the breakdown, and that's like. So there are crossover vibes.
Okay, good.
Undeniably. Like I really, and in a lot of ways, maybe that's what it is. It is just the Grand Descent to its next level,
mm-hmm.
and what it was supposed to be. So to answer your original question, it was written before I was sick. Like the bulk of these riffs were written before I was sick, but then a lot changed.
And the lyrical content, was that also set in stone prior, or was that something that you kind of added afterwards?
That was another thing where it was like, I started writing it almost like a book. Like I wanted like Last Day of Sun to be like a fictional story. Okay. It's a concept album.
Okay. Yeah.
Front to back, and about like 12 songs, and there's like 12 hours of daylight. and like it was very strict. It was very rigid. The plan. There was like no room for like anything. And then once I got sick, that's when like I started to not give a shit and like started just doing whatever I wanted to do. And like those rules got broken, and that's why it's like more of a loose concept album now.
Gotcha.
And those lyrics, like you were saying, to answer your question, it's like it's not as much as the music. The lyrics were really, there were kind of words all over the place, and then I just kept tying them together and a lot. You know, there are songs. There's a song "Kill the Disease," which is strictly about, I want to say it's about cancer, but it's also about my graft versus host disease, and it's also about like any fucking disease that anyone has to deal with. I don't care if it's addiction or like you have like diabetes. Yeah. Like you know what I mean? Like just to conquer that shit. So like how could I say I did not write that before I got sick? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. How is the graft disease? Like how is that going?
That shit. It said that's the sick. I had this liver biopsy. It was super scary, but we got results that said it's resolving, so I'm good.
Oh, cool. So you're kind of coming out of that, and like that's, for those who don't know, that's kind of like when you do get a transplant. Your body either fights it or the transplant fights it, and then that's kind of like what you're kind of working towards, kind of like make those stick together.
Exactly. They're like battling where they need to be bros.
Yeah. They just need to harmonize together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's good. That's good that's happening. When you originally got like the diagnosis and stuff like that, like, did your world just collapse, or like, you know what I mean? Like, how'd you take it? Like, how'd you personally take it? Like, did you just say like, okay, well, this is cancer. A lot of people get cancer. People beat cancer all the time. Technology is up here. You know, science is up here. It's different than like 50 years ago. Like, how did you internalize it when you got the word that you weren't leaving the hospital, and then originally figured out that that's what you had?
I mean, the first thing I said was I just want to play one more show. I'll never forget that moment. And like, you know, luckily, I had people around me that love me that were there, but like, I think it just turned into like warfare. Like everyone was like, let's beat it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I really mean that. Like it turned into like something probably similar to war, where it's like, you either live or die, and like, you have to, that's it. And that's kind of how everyone like looked at it. And I can confidently say how I've gotten this far.
Yeah.
Cause you were friends with Pete, right?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, not unfortunately, but fortunately enough,
it's unfortunate.
Yeah,
dude.
I was friends with him, but yeah, he unfortunately passed. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. He like, when I got like my transplant and got out of it, he put out, Ether Coven put out a song called Psalm of Cancer, and I saw the song when I was on Lambgoat.com. And like, I'm so serious, would not have seen that if I didn't go on Lambgoat that day. Yeah, I just reached out to Pete for anyone watching. Pete's played in a lot of bands, but this was one of his newer bands, and he had a battle with cancer, and he was like such a savage. He would like, I was doing all these like young adult cancer groups, and they're like, I had a good day. I put on a shirt. I'm being so mean. I'm like,
no, dude, I can only imagine what Pete's like.
Yeah. They're like, I got a salad today, but like Pete's like, I got my 4 Sovtech amps. They're all in a row. I threw them in my trunk. I got band practice. I'm shooting a music video. Yeah. I'm like, you're doing that all today? Yeah. He's like, yeah, I got a 2-hour drive to get the amps. And then it was, dude. Yeah. He was just like, I was like, I want to be like that guy. Yeah. I want to do as much as I can.
It was really confusing with him because, you know, like, God, I followed Pete for like most of my life. And then I was lucky enough at the end there, last couple of years to like, you know, I had one, he was like the 6th or 7th podcast that we did. And Ether Coven was playing like down the street, and he came over to my house, and it's like a 2-hour podcast on my couch or whatever. But since then, we kind of like, we weren't like besties or anything like that, but we texted all the time or whatever, or talked all the time. And, you know, if I saw him, you know, we always would chit chat. And I remember he came up to us at Furnace Fest, and he kind of alluded that it was back or something like that. And that was the last I'd heard of it. And that's the last I heard that it might be back or was not going as well. And then you know, he just kept doing shit. Like, he just kept powering through.
Oh,
And
yeah.
every, you know, so I was like, I don't know what's going on. It just seems like a normal person that is healthy would do that, not someone who is like dying, right? So
Yeah.
and it was crazy. I remember I got the text message and I was like, holy fuck. But anyway, yeah, that was a bad one. That was a pretty bad one. But luckily, you're here, and luckily there's other people that are here. But yeah, I mean, I also lost my mom to cancer a couple, like 13, 14 years ago. So it's not a fun time. You know what I mean?
Dude, it sucks wicked bad.
Yeah, I can only imagine because you went through it. Speaking of going through it, you were playing guitar after you got out of the hospital. What are you doing in the hospital?
Playing guitar.
Okay, so they allowed you to come in like shred?
Dude, yeah. And they were like really supportive because most people are like 80. So like, and they're all blasting like, what is it? Family Feud all like the same time on their TVs. So like the nurses and like doctors and everything, I think they get like really bored. And like, yeah, they were really, really stoked that I was playing, like almost too stoked, where I was like, chill, can I just play?
Yeah, they're like, hey, Mark,
and like,
just shoot a riff off real quick. Show me a riff. Huh?
Yeah, no, that was like so common. Like, you can imagine, like, oh, do you know any? I'm trying to think of one that they asked. I don't even know, dog. Like, just ask me like crazy stuff. But yeah, they were. I'm kidding. They were so supportive. You know, there was a guy who was like, anything to kill time there. Like, they want you to do. So I was in there playing guitar.
Interesting. I was curious because that like
it was like hyperbolic time chamber. I'm not gonna lie, man.
You just like
for riffs.
How long were you in there for? How long were you in there before you got released?
The first time I was in there for almost a month. I got released right before Christmas. Like, not on Christmas Eve, the night before. And that was like, it was so hype with my family that I was home.
Yeah.
And then from there on, it was like periodically in and out and in and out. I would go in for 8 days. I would go in for 6. I went in for like 11. And then I would come out and be like super sick. And then all the way like leading up to my transplant, which then I was gone for like straight up, like I was locked up for like 3 months.
And you would get sick from like just the treatment or whatnot, not from the disease? Or a little bit.
Oh, hell no. No, I've been in remission since December 2021. I immediately got put into remission. But the problem with that cancer is if you don't get a transplant, it comes back. There's no other way. Okay. And Nurgle from Behemoth had the exact same cancer as me. And that was like 15 years ago. So, Did
you guys connect over that by chance?
No, no, we didn't. But sometimes I would, when you're in that position, you kind of got to like look to yourself. You can't like look to others because it's like no one else has been through that. But, every now and then I go on his Instagram story and see him walking alone getting a coffee. I'd be like, I'm going to do that too. That looks pretty cool. I'm gonna beat this and get out and do that too. Yeah. So that was like a victory lap, just going on my own to get coffee alone. That was really cool.
How much of it is mental? Like, how much of that whole ordeal is just like, if you don't have the right mentality, you're kind of screwed? And did coming from like,
you're definitely dead.
Yeah. And then did coming from like like the hardcore metal scene, DIY scene, did that kind of like help with your mentality as far as like getting it, just making sure that you were mentally prepared or mentally fighting?
I've never thought of that, but it probably did. It probably has. And like, I mean, the other thing I was doing in the hospital was just listening to music all the time. Get super nostalgic, listen to something like, because it's partly like I was on my deathbed and like, I don't know, you listening to such nostalgia, like music I would never find myself listening to.
Oh, like what? You got to give us a little something now. If it's Limp Bizkit, I'm going to
Avenged Sevenfold. I was listening to, what the fuck? Me and my girlfriend would sing the song with each other.
Like, we talking like backcountry or earlier than that?
Oh, no. It was like some
or newer stuff.
No, I want to. What was the one we would always fucking sing, dude? We watched the music video for Seize the Day. Okay. That was a very like,
That's a good one.
Very cool. That was like, it's like very Guns N' Roses, and the drummer, the Rev, is very like Motley Crue in it, and there's just all this like they're metalcore, but there's so much hair metal in it that it's like you can't exactly, you can't help but like laugh because it's like this is so over the top in the best way. And especially, you think I thought I would be listening to something like John Mouse or something very profound and deep on my deathbed, but I guess not. You start thinking of other stuff like that. So,
were you watching the Paul McCartney concert during that time, or was that kind of more rehab time?
That was after. That was like there's this time you have to stay at like an on-campus apartment because it's like basically my chemo was like a shotgun blast where like some people get it over like long periods of time. For me, it was like you have to get it all right now, and then we give you the transplant the next day, and then that way, if it ever comes back, the cancer can never come back because the transplant's in the way. And so there's like this recovery period, and I was in this like apartment across from Fenway Park, the baseball park for the Red Sox in Boston, and Paul McCartney played there back-to-back nights, and you could just like see the whole entire field, the whole entire performance. And it was amazing.
I assume they don't care that the hospital people get free tickets to everything that goes on at Fenway.
Dude, I think a lot of them don't want that. I'm lucky that I'm a musician, and I'm like, yes. Imagine if you like don't like music and you don't like loud sounds. Yeah, you would go crazy in that apartment. I don't know how people do it.
Or if you
for those
baseball.
Kind of people,
yeah.
What's good?
Or if you hated baseball either, because I'm sure baseball's there most of the year.
Yeah, dude. Like it was. I mean, I was there for 6 weeks in that apartment, and that was nuts. That was when I was at like my weakest and like couldn't move around and like couldn't do shit. I'm like, I had to like relearn guitar in that apartment, and it was really like trying time. But that Paul McCartney concert that I got to see was really cool.
Yeah, and it was twice, not just once. So
I know, it was back to back, so like, let's do it again tomorrow night.
You've seen
what's cool is he counts in like he's like 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, 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 boom. Like they are not like he's so old school, obviously, but like
no click track type thing.
Yeah, no, but not even the drummer counting in. Like he counted it in, like on the microphone to everyone. He's like, yeah. He didn't even say what's up. It was like mildly awkward. He was just like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they just started playing.
Hilarious.
But it's like 20,000 people, but it was like a small bar club vibe. It was wicked sick.
I'm trying to remember. I saw him at like Bonnaroo like a decade ago or whatever, and I'm trying to remember if I remember any of it because unfortunately Bonnaroo also you do a wide variety of other things outside of just listening to music. You know what I mean? So you're drinking and partying and stuff like that. So later in the evening it gets
Seeing
it's
people.
like later in the evening it gets it's like I don't remember much, so that's
yeah. You're like, oh shit, that's Paul McCartney.
Yeah, I've seen so many like big ass artists at like those festivals where I'm not like there to see like Billy Joel or Paul McCartney or anyone like that, but like I'm in the back. I don't remember any of it because they're all late in the evening.
Yeah, yeah.
Speaking of Boston, Fenway Park, do you fuck around with sports? Are you a sports guy?
I love football. That's like really the only thing that I could like really talk about as far as sports. I do love the Red Sox. Don't get me wrong. Rest in peace, Wakefield. But mainly football. Patriots.
Are they going to turn around this year or what?
No, they aren't. I wish there's no way. Is that too dark to say as a Patriots fan?
No,
I mean, like
I think it's rare because you never
like,
are in this perspective.
I would be a jackass if I was coming on here being like, no, Mac Jones has got this. Like, I would be. I don't know. I feel like I'd be lying through my teeth. And I want him to, and I want the Patriots to do well. And I will still be rooting for the Patriots. Yeah. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong.
I mean, I'm a Jaguar fan, so I've lived through even worse probably than you've probably ever gonna live with the Patriots. I mean, this year's pretty rough for you guys, but like that's every year for us. You know what I mean? For the past 20 years. And is Mac the guy from here? Is he the guy from Bowls? I know there was a draft. Like someone got drafted. I don't know if it's him or. Yeah, I think Mac Jones is from
Jacksonville. Brother and his friend about this. I don't remember. I don't know.
Mac Jones, where'd he go to high school?
Did he get drafted?
No, he's from here. No, he didn't get drafted from high school, but he did go to the
Bulls.
I
was like, what? But
that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? No.
Yeah, it would literally no. Mac Jones has got this. I don't know, man. I'm a Patriots fan, so I'll be rooting for him, dude. Yeah. I am rooting for Mac Jones. Like, there's like just because you're down, anyone listening out there, even if you're not in sports, just because you're down bad once doesn't mean you can come back up.
That's true.
You can come back. You can always come back, even from like the smallest, ugliest thing.
Yeah, and
Go
ahead, finish it. Finish your thought.
I think about this all the time, and I think this is really like in tune with music, and like people are really like obsessed with like success nowadays. And when I say success, I mean like our show is sold out. Like, we did it. We sold out the show. Does it really matter if you sold out the show and no one cares? Like, is that going to help you in 6 months? Or is Sanguis Sugarbog touring with Vomit Forth, bringing over Kruelty, who's been hardworking for years from Japan, finally really getting an opportunity when other Japanese bands have been getting opportunities that come over here, especially in more of like a hardcore punk lane. Those are, how do you measure success and any of that? And the reality is you can't.
Yeah.
But you can always come back. And that's kind of that was the thought that you just sparked in my head that you asked me to finish. Was I think about it a lot, and that's why I'm really excited about this Devil Master Final Gasp tour, because we're all really good friends already. Francis, Devil Master, he's the bassist of Integrity. He was for a while, and we've just all known each other for so long, and there's like a certain like vibe we all have together. And I know for a fact, if we play a show and it's not sold out, it will be 100 times more lit than a show that is sold out. That seems like it's good and seems like it's a part of a good thing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my thought on that.
Speaking of Kruelty and Sanguis Sugarbog, I saw that tour when it came to town, and I was kind of blown away by Kruelty. And I tweeted about it, and I was like, "Oh man, Kruelty sounds so much better live." And I didn't mean it in a negative way. I just meant like, you listen to it on the internet or your AirPods or fucking in the car or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's recorded in a certain way, which is not a knock on Taylor or anything like that, because he did hit me up after I fucking tweeted it. But I just like, you could just being there, watching the band, feeling the atmosphere, feeling the air hit you, because like obviously you're feeling the sound waves and all that stuff. It was just like a whole thing, and it like clicked then when I was watching them. I was like, oh shit, this band is like for real badass. It's not just like they're hyped because they're like a death metal kind of adjacent band from Japan. It's like they're fucking really sick, and it really like popped the light on in my head. And then I tweeted it, and then like everyone was like, it's supposed to sound like that, blah, 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 blah. And then, Taylor hit me up on Messenger, and I was like, dude, it's not even like that. So it is what it is.
I've been rocking with Kruelty since day one. Shout out to my friend Brendan Coughlin. He ripped a guest guitar solo on one of their songs. Like, dude, it might be 5 years ago, if not more. And dude, they're awesome.
Is that how you found out about them? Is through that through the fan, or how you just got your ear to the death metal underground?
Yep, ear to the ground, just like always, just trying to listen to good shit.
What were you doing prior to Fuming Mouth?
I started Fuming Mouth in 2013, and I was writing Fuming Mouth riffs in 2010.
Okay.
I really was like not playing in bands, or if I did, I'd be playing like in a friend's band or something like something, and it would be like a local band, or I really did not have like a serious band. Well, I did. I played bass in this one band, Tinnitus, and they were like a power violence band, and that was the first time I ever played with a band, and it felt like a band, all me and the 3 other people in that band were all like in sync and like creating good music. And that was like really special. And that I would say, you know, led to what I wouldn't say it led to what Fuming Mouth was, because that was kind of like happening at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But that was like that was the one that was like before Fuming Mouth. That was like, oh wow, I actually am like a part of something.
And how did you kind of get into this like love of death metal? I know when you were, because you liked In Flames and that Needler song, and when you said that on a podcast, that was like a year ago or some shit. But I was like, oh man, I haven't heard the Needle song in forever. But
Needle 24/7.
Yeah. I remember.
My children Bodum.
Yeah, and it was because like that song came out roughly around the same time Halo came out, or Halo was a thing, and you know they had the needle gun. And I just constantly thought about like them writing a song about the fucking needle gun, but that wasn't.
That's probably why I loved it.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, it is Needle 24/7.
Yeah, that's how I thought.
Was
about
playing
it.
Halo and like just shooting it. I guess my love of death metal, I know exactly where it was. There's no guessing. I started taking lessons, guitar lessons at this place in Milford, Massachusetts called the Music House. And there was this guy, Nick, there, and he played death metal, and he was like a super huge fan of Nile, a super huge fan of Behemoth, like something, and this was in 2006. And he was in a band called Norseth, and then one of the bassist of Norseth, this, I can't remember the girl's name, but she was dating a member of the Red Chord, and they got interviewed by Jamie Jossa on Headbangers Ball. And it was like it was like a really big deal for like my town that this Norseth shirt was like on Headbangers Ball.
Right.
It was like a really, really big deal. Like I look back on it, like it's like comically big. And meeting him, and that guitar teacher Nick is the one who like totally got me into death metal. And then
how old are you now? How old are you again? Sorry,
I'm 33.
No. How old are you then? When this was all
16.
Okay,
I was 16 years old.
Teenage years. Okay.
I was 16 for sure. And dude, yeah, I think I got super into death metal, but then something like wouldn't click, and it wasn't until like I really got just a few years older, and I was like started using YouTube Serious, and I got like Daniel Eckeroth's book Swedish Death Metal. That book, that's when I read that book front to back, and then I would be YouTubing every single band. So like and listening to them, and I realized like, oh, death metal isn't fast and technical. It's like it only is fast and technical now. It was like actually, I don't know. Lemmy explains it best in an interview where he says it's I can't remember exactly what he says, but it's supposed to be dumber, like stupid. It's not supposed to be necrophagist.
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean? It's no offense. I like them, but I'm just saying that's not what it was supposed to be. That's what it turned into. And then that's when it started to click. And yeah, I'd say like around that age is when it all just, you know, and the fanaticism began, the obsession began.
When do you start learning guitar? Are you learning guitar at that
16.
time? Okay.
Yeah. He was teaching me guitar, and yeah. So it was very much like intertwined, the two of them.
Yeah. And so when do you start going to shows and branching out into other genres?
I was 18. I didn't start going to shows until I was 18, which around Massachusetts and Boston, you're like, that is so, at that time, that was like, I'm old as hell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can imagine.
Like, shout out to my friend Dylan Carlo. First time I met him, God, dude, he might have been 13. You know what I mean? And we were going to our first shows together. I'm like, what am I doing? Like
picking up the preteens on the way to the show.
No. And, but regardless, it was just like, I started, that 18, my friend Dan Kissel took me to, some shows, and then ever since then I just kept going and going and going and going.
Yeah. And do you when you started writing the riffs that would come to be Fuming Mouth, was it always just like, I'm gonna do a solo thing, or Did you ever think that it would be a full band project? Or?
No, I dreamed and I worked so hard to try and make it a full band thing, but everyone thought I was a joke. I went on this like metal group, this like New England metal hardcore group, and like asked like if
That's your first mistake right there, probably.
oh dude, it was my first mistake. It was every like elitist in metal. And back then, before my time, there was like a band Goratory. They went on to be members of like Job for a Cowboy and stuff, like Al Glassman and stuff. And like, it wasn't him. I'm saying he's like he's just a notable person. But like, either way, I joined that group, and I just got roasted for being like. I remember saying, because I was playing in that band Tinnitus I was telling you about, and that was there's only 6 power violence bands, true 6 power violence bands in the world. And if you say you're a poser. You're not. You're playing fast hardcore.
Yeah.
But that's fine. Because no one fucking cares anyways. But you should.
Yeah.
And the reality was I was a poser back then. And I was like, I want to play power violence. And everyone at that time just started roasting me for using the words. What is power violence? What are we calling? Is that like power metal where you're going to be violent? Oh, like just... Dude, oh my God. I can't even remember how many comments were on Facebook just destroying me. It was so
good thing you didn't post that. Bad. Yeah, good thing you didn't ask it on like Lambgoat's message board or something like that. It would have been even worse.
I know. Dude, I mean, who knows? But no, I wanted it to be like the realest shit ever, but it just like wasn't happening. So it was like I just kept doing it on my own and just like writing the riffs, and then just like found a drummer. And just like, I was like, you know what? It was like this time period, especially when Fuming Mouth started, where like things in Massachusetts and in our scene were becoming like, you could feel like things were coming to an end. Like the venue Anchors Up was like being closed down, or it would be talked about being closed down, and then it would be like reopened, or like, oh no, it's still around, and then it would be closed, and someone would come in. So like, it almost felt like I was like, okay, I'm gonna do one more death metal. I'm gonna do one thing. I'm gonna do it right, and like, yeah, that was Fuming Mouth.
Interesting. And so since you were posing in the beginning, how did you get so intertwined into the scene to where like, you know, I mean, granted, obviously by this time you're already in Fuming Mouth and you have that record out and everything leading up to this, but you know, you get into your cancer, treatments, and everyone's posting the GoFundMe, and you're getting all this, super outreach, from like not only fans but like people in the industry, people that are in other bands, everything. Oh yeah, like that.
Hardcore scene, metal community, people in the industry, the punk hardcore scene I came from, everyone. Yeah.
So how did you like get out of the posing pool into like the cool guy group?
Never give up.
Yeah.
Never give up.
Just keep taking it on the chin.
Keep taking it on the chin, and don't worry about being cool. That's lame. That's like, it's the lamest thing you could ever do. Like, it's one thing to act cool. It's another thing just to be it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like, even you can still act cool even when you don't know what's going on and you don't like know certain genres and you're still like learning about shit.
I mean, I'm here every day on this podcast doing just that almost. You know what
I mean? Yeah.
I can't sit here and say I know and that's the thing probably. People probably associate.
I side with Taylor Young. Kruelty is sick.
Yeah, no, they are sick. I side with Taylor Young.
Yeah, that's right.
But no, it's like one of these things where like, you run this outlet and people just expect you to know everything. And it's like, dude, do you know how much is going on? Like there's so much I can't even take in.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Like, it doesn't matter what media outlet. Like, there's just like, you have your own musical preferences, and then there's like the outlet's musical preference and what like.
Yeah.
I think you just gotta do whatever the fuck you want. I don't know what it would be like to be in your shoes, but yeah, I imagine like it's you got to get some silly reactions of like, how do you expect me to do this?
Oh no, they expect it. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, it's like, how How?
I don't know.
How would you expect me to know a certain like specific rare thing about a band?
Yeah, you didn't see so and so tweet this, and I was like, no, I was busy doing fucking 18 other things, doing this podcast, posting news. I got other shit going on. There's so much shit that floods in that we don't have time to even check out. You know what I mean? So sorry to everyone who submits a song for us to post. It's like that's not. I don't know how we can go through that.
That is like, let it go. Work on like building your own scene. And I came from like a great group of friends that like, and we all just play music together. Like Tinnitus, like I was saying. And once you do that, then it just starts to like, just kind of starts to flow. And then,
like if we start seeing your name around, like you said, if you start building up a little bit of like, hoopla about you and some, eventually we'll see it. Everyone will see it. And then,
but I wasn't even thinking of it like that. It's so weird. It was just like, I was just doing it. And then that happened. So you just, it's like Nike, just do it.
Yeah, just do it. Just keep going and
just do it.
Keep swinging for the fences, And the thing is like with
it's like Pete. It's like Pete from Remembering Never. Just do it.
Yeah.
That's not what he would say, but he would say, "Fuck God."
Yeah, no, he would definitely say that. Yeah. That guy was such an interesting fucking cat, man. It sucks. We went record shopping with him at about a year and a half ago.
Is that getting released?
Yeah, people keep asking about it.
He told me.
I know.
Yeah, I have not asked. This is my first time.
I know, but people we've been flooded.
I got my expectations. Where's the shopping with Pete video?
It's coming, dude. It's coming.
What's up, Blur?
It's coming, dude. It's coming. It just now it feels weird, like as when he died, I was like, fuck, dude, now we really have to fucking push that. And like, we've got so much other shit. We've got so much other shit that particular team is working on. Like they're doing a documentary for Dallas Taylor and his recovery. And they're doing some other things with like the 70K ton cruise, that big metal cruise that goes down. I got jumped at a Maylene in the Sons of Disaster show once and almost died. Wow. Do we want to talk about that?
I mean, dude, I was at upstairs Palladium, and these three dudes were there, and I had no guy friends, no one with me, and I was near the pit. This guy kind of started something with me. I swung on him, so he swung back at me. I got the best of him. We didn't really get to fight. The security guard took him out, and then his friends were so pissed that their friend got kicked out over me. And dude, just at the end of this set, they literally beat the fucking shit out of me.
Wow.
Yeah. I had another friend there. He played in the band. He filled in for this band, The Carrier. Do you remember The Carrier? Yeah. They were, and like, yeah, dude. He said that one of them hit me in the back of the head with an 8-ball. So that's like why.
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
So are you like knocked out? Like
I don't remember any of it.
Yeah.
I woke up to Dallas Taylor in the hospital above me.
Really?
This was so many years ago. Yeah. And he came to the hospital. He was with my mom. And
I gotta ask him about that.
Do you know him?
I mean,
I haven't talked to him in years.
Yeah. I mean, we at this particular point, since we went down and shot all that stuff, we've been going back and forth for the last year and a half or something like that. So, yeah, I can ask him about it and tell him to hit you up.
Yeah. I haven't talked to him in mad long, but like, it was crazy. Yeah. He came and he paid for the copay.
Oh wow, cool. That's good.
And like, he paid for my mom, because, yeah.
That leads me into another kind of topic that I'm always going back and forth on. And you're from an area where this is kind of like a thing, the crowd killing / moshing, ninja dancing, hardcore, moshing. God, it's, I like it, but I also hate it. You know what I mean? Okay. Like when I used to go to shows, it was much different. And so as it's progressed, as like the internet has gotten its hands on it and the newer generation sees this crazy chaotic moshing.
Yeah.
I feel like they've tried to take it to the next level, and it's just so much more dangerous and violent. And I know that
really? Yeah. You think it's more dangerous now?
I think so, because I think more people are in the pit. There's more people that are at these shows in general. And there's more people.
I feel like people are more aware that these like younger kids don't know what's going on. And then like the younger kids are trying harder. All I know is sometimes I've been to some shows where I've seen some friends really hold back, and I'm like,
Oh, the
you
older
have no
dudes.
idea
Yeah.
how close you were to going to the hospital.
I feel like the older cats definitely, but the younger cats just don't have that wherewithal, and they're just going balls to the wall.
I have been seeing that. Yeah, go off.
Yeah, so it's I don't know.
I'm down with it.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, because I feel
it's a
like
vibe thing. It's a vibe thing for me. I'm just gonna cut right to the chase, and it's like sometimes, there's like it depends on the room. You know what I mean? Like you can't be going around and beating the shit out of people at a bad show. Like there's no point. You can't justify that.
Yeah.
If the vibe's not there, that's not there. But like this is an extremely aggressive style of music, and you can't choose what like
reaction.
You can't exactly. You can't, and that is the power of music. That's the beauty of it, kind of.
It's making your body do those weird moves. You know, I get it.
It is, and there are times where people step out of line and do something they shouldn't. I'm not saying that isn't the case. But like,
similar with like your situation. I'm sure that was like a pit situation where something.
It was one thing to another. You know what I mean? And then it was like I'll no, fuck those guys. But like yeah, it is one of those things where it's just like one thing leads to another. And I think people forget that, and they only see the really dramatic thing, like someone getting knocked out, and they're like, this is fucked up. And it is fucked up, but certain things lead to that. And I think just like being aware of like the space that you're in and like what is going on, as long as it's like community based, then everything should be okay. And things do happen, and people do get whipped. At a Fuming Mouth show, my ideal Fuming Mouth show is everyone packed in, singing the lyrics and climbing on top of each other. So like, not knocking people out.
No pit. Just like a big pile on.
Yeah, but I don't get to choose that. You know what I mean? That's up to the vibe. That's up. Does the music resonate with people like that? But a big pile on, yeah. But I mean, like, it's Fuming Mouth at the end of the day. I think people are going to get in that mosh pit.
Especially for that breakdown. That's solid.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, Burial Grounds. Wait, November 3rd, Burial Grounds.
Put it in your notes, peoples, in the phone reminder.
Track 11, Burial Grounds.
Yeah, I mean and again, I'm not shitting on hardcore dancing or moshing or anything like that. That's where I'm sitting on the end of the pit. Like my ideal situation, if I'm in a show, I'm on the back of the pit.
So many friends
I'm just watching.
Like, you're kind of seeing this from both sides. They're like, what the fuck is that? That is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
You look like an idiot. And I'm like, that's true. They do look stupid, but they kind of look cool too if you really look at it long enough. I don't know. There's so much like back and forth that it's like I really stress like the space you're in. You know what I mean? You can't, like, there was a while where it was like, we want to create a safe space, but then like I would see somebody who like definitely does not belong in a safe space. Ironically, in that safe space, because they were safe. Because they knew that like no one would do anything about it, and they could go to that place, and they were actually somebody that has done something horrible. I've seen that happen a lot of times, so I don't think you can just cut and dry say that anymore.
Yeah.
And I think it really needs to just be a community effort to like really make sure that like LDB does it good.
Yep.
They're a great fest.
We I'd love to go, but I don't know if we're really invited. So.
Oh shit. Well, you know what? That's I don't know shit about that.
No, I know. It's not. We've tried for years and just no response. So it is what it is.
Hey man, that fest is awesome.
Oh no, for sure. All the photos and videos of that shit just look completely wild. There's a reason why we want to attend it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. And what was I gonna say? America's Hardcore in Boston. That's a really good hardcore fest. But then like, it just really depends on the festival. Those are just two hardcore festivals. You know, there's plenty of metal festivals like Maryland Death Fest and everything too. And like these are the fests where it's like, you know, what goes on in the pit, no matter how heinous it is. We're not talking about just crowd killing. I'm talking about
throwing ladders into the pit and shit.
No, I'm talking about a girl like like performing sexual acts during the autopsy pit.
Oh yeah. I remember hearing about that.
Just I support that if that's all consensual. It's gross and disgusting.
That's
the
like
band is autopsy.
That's like some Juggalo fest type shit. That's like
no, it is not. No,
you
it is not. That is autopsy. That is disgusting, dripping death metal shit, and I fuck with it.
Good.
And let them work. Let them work. And as long as it's okay in that space, you know what I mean. If it infringes on somebody else's shit, and someone else, then I don't. Something has to change, but it's room to room is what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
You can't, and people are assholes and fuck up and knock people out and punch people when they shouldn't be, and then
and that's not the bulk of it.
They shouldn't.
That's not the bulk of them. You know what I mean? But that is,
yes.
I think when that's what I was kind of trying to get at. I think that content reaches peak on like these internet social sites, and then kids just think that's what it is, and it's not that, and they try to go and mimic that. That's where I'm starting to feel like that's a little odd, you know what I mean? Because it used to be like, and I'm a Florida kid, I'm down here in North Florida, and the Unbroken Wings and Shattered Realm used to come down here all the time because it was all like a eulogy tour package with like Evergreen Terrace or something like that. And God, when those Boston guys would come down, it would be like, oh fuck, it would just be like, better have your head on a swivel in the pit, because they do it a little differently up there.
I don't look at it that deep, but yeah.
Well, it was like 20-something years ago at that point. I mean, it was so long ago. But
yeah.
Is this tour coming up for you, like the first big foray in like, leaving and touring with the band since everything's happened for you?
We toured with the Black Dahlia Murder and Terror. That was the first big one to be like, let's see if we can do it. Let's see if Fuming Mouth can do 7 weeks. And we did. And this is going to be the first one where we start playing these Last Day of Sun songs. I'm really, really like, oh man, I'm very, very eager to play them, and I'm even more eager to present them to the world, just put it out there. Then yes, this is going to be the start of that, and then we're going to tour the UK in January around a festival out there. We've been trying to go to the UK for 3 years now, so that's going to be huge. It's going to be really great. We're bringing out Celestial Sanctuary. Have you ever heard of that band? Yeah, so we're going to bring them. That's going to be awesome. And then we got some more stuff planned for 2024. So the answer is yes.
Cool. And I know you've spent like years writing and recording and sitting on, basically this record that you are about to release. So like, do you have the itch, or have you already started itching the new writing, bug? Have you started?
The moment I finished writing this album, I came up with the title and wrote like the next. We recorded 2 songs for the 3rd album, one recording this album.
Okay, so you already kind of have some kind of.
We're good. Oh yeah.
Okay.
The 3rd album's like good to go.
Wow, how long are you gonna sit on that bad boy?
That's gonna come out in 2025. But you know what? Last Day of Sun was supposed to come out in 2021, and god damn it did not.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of other shit that happened too.
Yeah, I mean, listen. There's 3 things that could fuck you up. You can't forget this. Anyone listening to me and Lurk right now: law, nature, and health.
Yeah.
Any of those 3 things will fuck you up. And if you think you're above that, just get ready. Just get ready, because those things will keep swinging. The law will keep attacking you. The law will fuck you up and arrest you. Like, health will fucking come back and get you. Like, you got to be on top of that. And then, I don't know, temperature, weather, any of those 3 things can interfere. But yeah, gonna follow this up with a 3rd record for sure.
Nice. And how does it differ from the most recent one that you at this particular point have released, but you're releasing it in 2 weeks?
That one's gonna be a lot heavier.
So it's like, is it death metal? Is it more death metal?
It's going to be way more heavy death metal. It basically, like, the melodic stuff we've touched upon and the death metal stuff we've touched upon. I know, like, right now the 2 singles are kind of misleading to the album. They're very like melodic, and the rest of it is very. There's some other stuff on it, and this next record, from what I see, it will be way way more riffing, way more metal, way more melodic, just all in those specific moments. And I think it's going to be less kind of walking a fence on both of those styles and more like really sitting into like, one of those kind of, one of those genres or one of those like motifs.
Mm-hmm. How much of the writing process or creativity of Fuming Mouth comes from you, and does any of it come from any other input as far as like other members that you've kind of brought onto the project since 2013?
It comes from me. It's definitely me working on it, me writing it all, me sitting in my laptop in a DAW, whether it's like Logic, GarageBand, Ableton, or even Pro Tools. That's what I've been trying to use now, and figuring it out. And then I kind of bring it to the table with everybody else, and then we see what works and what's going to work best live, so that none of us are like, so we can like perform it the best.
I gotcha. Yeah. One thing I want to kind of, before I kind of cut you loose here, because we're going over an hour. So, I'm going back to being sick, obviously. So you're sick, all this stuff going on, and then like the GoFundMe stuff pops up, and then like you wake up one day and you're like 6 figures donated. Like, how is that as a person, let alone, just you, like waking up knowing that like over X amount of people have donated, 6 figures towards your treatment, recovery, and all this stuff. Like, how, like, explain to me what that's like for you personally to just wake up to.
Dude, I mean, it was just, there's no other word to use, but it was just such a relief. It was so bad, dude. It was like, it was, maybe days before that, it was me looking at my now fiance and my girl and just being like, I don't even want to say it, just trying to figure out like, what are we going to do? Because at the time I was working I was working for COA, like Colin of Arabia, taking out trash and like literally like pushing dumpsters. And that's what I was doing to like get by and make money. And there was no way I could do that. And the only word I can use is just relief, because so when I got diagnosed and I had, chemo, I told you I went into remission December 2021. Once that was done, then it was like, once we knew that this process was working. We didn't know if I was in remission yet, but once we knew the process was working, it was like, and it wasn't all about like if I was about to die right there. It was like, wait a minute, how am I going to pay for anything? How am I going to live? How are we going to like do anything? So it became this really scary thing that was building up. And I kid you not, that happened, and it was like just relief. Yeah.
And I'm sure that helps out a lot mentally, like you were just saying, because, and a lot of people may not be like as mystic as I am, but like, I think stress in general causes a lot of issues for people. Like,
how are me and my girl going to pay for our apartment?
Right. Yeah. That's one. But like, and then that stress is also added on top of like the stress of dealing with your battle. And
that's what happened. That was a conversation. I feel like embarrassed saying that, but she looked at me and she's like, she said it like, I think a couple days before. She's like, how are we going to pay rent?
Yeah.
And we knew the guy we were paying rent to. So it was even worse. It wasn't like it was some scummy landlord. Oh, fuck the landlords. It was like a friend. We're like, it was like creating this trickle down effect where it was like, oh my God, like we're going to like hurt people. Like everyone's going to be affected by this. Yeah. Everyone, this sucks. And once that GoFundMe went up, it was just relief.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy to see like the outpour of, of support, not only for your GoFundMes, but for many of the GoFundMes that are,
shout out Maddie, shout out Year of the Knife.
Yeah. That one's a big one too. She's got, I mean, they definitely need all that, but there's a long road for her, I'm assuming, for recovery. So yeah, I mean, and again, Geez Louise, man. That's got to be scary dealing with that too. But yeah, I think stress doesn't do well for the body, and I think it causes a lot of, you know, ailments to humans in general. So I know that, like, you know, when you have that kind of support, it probably helps, you know, your fight mentally. You know, you mentally are prepared to fight even more.
Oh, dude, now I just feel like I owe the world everything.
Yeah.
I really do. It's just like, I have a second chance at doing this. Like, I have to do something right.
Nice. Yeah. So, and in that, like, what are some of the things that you're trying to do right? Just live every day right, or is there something like a bigger movement that you're trying to?
Fuck that. No way. Like, we were talking at the beginning of the podcast about eating, dude. I just went to the Friendly Toast and just hammer down food. Like, like there's only so much one person could do in that sense. You know what I mean? But like I'm not a cigarette smoker, but I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if somebody has to smoke a cig, they have to smoke a cig. In that sense, it's more like, I just want to shed light as far as cancer goes, specifically to a bone marrow transplant and, how necessary it is to like build a registry. I don't know how my chance, I would be dead 20 years ago easily. And like, bethematch.org, the whole thing is when you sign up for that, like you and that's how everyone's able to find these matches, because we all have the internet and we can all communicate on here globally. And you know, it's part of like what, you know, the concept of globalization and why it is important. And especially for Blacks, Latinos.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, because you shed light. You were talking about that on the other, on Hard Lore, and I was like, is that still
now
a
that
thing?
we're like bringing up that stuff, I'll bring it up again, because in that sense, I was still like really sick at that time when I did that Hard Lore, and like sick as in like recovery from the bone marrow transplant and the chemo I got takes at least 365 days, and I played that show. I don't know, 5 months, 6 months after I got the thing, so it was like.
That's nuts.
I just sent it, you know, and I'm glad I did, but because you only live once.
Yeah, that's true.
But
YOLO, I think they say.
Yeah, that's what they used to say. What was I gonna say? But yeah, like
transplants for
creating
and stuff.
Creating that, bethematch.org, creating that and signing up for that is super important, because I don't know the reason, but there are so many white people that are signed up for it from like other countries, like Poland. That's where my donation was from. Germany, a lot of European countries, and there's not from America. There's not as many from the United States, I believe. I could be wrong, but my point is, like, if we can get that registry way bigger, it does not even matter about race anymore, because if we make it so big, everyone will come in of all different ethnicities, and then there will be more, the chances of somebody who needs a bone marrow transplant, and that's just about bone marrow transplant, there's other types of transplants too, it will grow. So being an advocate of that is definitely something I really want to do long term. It's still so soon to figure out how to do it properly, but I know for a fact that's like I want to do more than build awareness. You know, I want to create change.
Yeah. I wonder, are you going to do something like the merch booth? Maybe like have people like either informed about something like that or sign up?
That's such a good idea. You know, that's such a good idea. Maybe no, like that's how these things happen.
I mean, I just think about like when I used to go to hardcore shows when I was a kid. It was like
you just have to fill out your
pamphlets were all over the place at every hardcore show.
So. You don't even need the pamphlet. Everyone knows you throw the pamphlet on the ground. You just sign up your name, then you get the email, and once you get that email, you might be like, you know what? Okay, I'm signed up. Or you do sign up, and then you get the email being like, do you want a swab to do this? And then you can figure it out. So that's why I like it. It's like I just really suggest just signing up for bethematch.org, but doing that at the merch table sounds dope.
I mean, it might be a good idea, because then, like, if you're there, you can talk about it. You know what I mean, and you can answer questions. I'm glad I could put that in your head.
That's a great idea. I have really that's high level marketing, Mark. I like that.
You can call me Mark if I'm marketing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Last, there's the two more things. I just was thinking about something, but I'll talk about the other thing really quick because it's an easy one. And maybe that'll come back to me, which it may not. But so prior to going in to the hospital, you had like a longer hair situation. Are you gonna get longer hair anymore, or are you just like the short hair kind of vibe now?
Dude, I think it's fate. I think I'm short hair now, and everyone else in the band is long hair, and they'll just keep banging their heads. And I've also never been center stage. This is my first time taking center stage. I get like really nervous and anxious when it comes to playing live. So I've always like been on the left or the right or like the center cockeyed until we played our first show at America's first show back at America's Hardcore 2022. And I was like, I'm going center. I'm just lead singer, center stage. I'm doing it. So it's a whole new vibe.
Yeah, well, that's good. I'm not recalling the last thing I'm going to ask, so I'm just going to forego that. But anyway, if you're made it this far, definitely check out bethematch.org. We'll have the link in the description. Mark, thank you for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure. If you haven't checked out Fuming Mouth, definitely check it out. New album is out November 3rd. Probably already out right now through Nuclear Blast. Oh, wait. How did you get in with Nuclear Blast? That's something I was going to ask earlier. I just forgot.
So many people. Like, the first person, Fred Espy in Dismember, he did sound for us. He's the drummer of Dismember, and they're a huge influence on us. He did sound for us in Brooklyn, and he had very good things to say about us. And I think he was the one who kind of put it in our brain. Other labels were already talking to us. Then, I talked to Will Putney on the phone about it. He kind of got wind, and he's recorded so many albums for so many labels that he knows the people in Nuclear Blast. And eventually, I spoke to Ian McFarland. He does videography. He's the bassist of Blood for Blood. They're a hardcore band from Boston. And he found out. And eventually, I think everyone just kind of started talking to Monty Connor, who is our artist in relations at Nuclear Blast. He used to be at Roadrunner. And I think eventually Monty Connor was like, why do I just keep hearing this name Fuming Mouth? And then we got on a phone call, and we both wanted the same things for the band, and we were off.
Awesome. I remember my question now because you were talking about recording.
Oh, what's good?
So you kind of been working with Kurt for the last album and the last two albums, right? You kind of just worked with Kurt at God City. Being a death metal artist and lover of death metal, have you ever thought about coming down to Tampa and doing like Morrisound or anything like around that area?
That is so crazy you said that. So Morrisound doesn't exist anymore.
I know, it's like a different studio.
No. This is a great question. Because I reached out to them if I could use it. The studio still exists, and it's owned by the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. That's their practice space, and that is where they record music.
Wow.
I reached out to whoever manages Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and I was like, is there a way we could bring down a producer to record in this room? It's still Morrisound. It's still the same building. And I got back an answer, and whoever does management for that building and for them, they entertain the idea. But at the time it didn't work out. But I'm just, for any death metal fans out there that love Morbid Angel or love any of the great records that came out of Morrisound, it exists. And or at least the building does, from what I understand. So, that would be a dream. Yeah.
I mean, what's weird is I used to live I lived in Tampa for a handful of years. I used to live down the street from it, and it was crazy
That's so cool.
Yeah. And I had a friend.
That's how you knew you were meant for this.
I mean, I've been doing this for a longer period of time than people know. I had my own website when I was 16 years old that I would take news from Lambgoat and post it on my own website. So it's come full circle now, But I think I heard about Morrisound when I was really young, and a friend of mine was in a band called they were like a new metal band or new metal adjacent band. They were called Calm, CALM, and they eventually went and became a Phoenix Morning, who was also signed to Metal Blade. But the Calm group played or recorded an EP or something like that in Morrisound, and that's how I kind of got wind of it. And then I started finding out that they recorded with every other band.
Yeah, Napalm Death is flying overseas to record there. Yeah, to record their third album, because they're like, we want to do it well. We want this to be big.
So that's kind of how I kind of found out about that when at a younger age, before I even listened to any kind of death metal. You know what I mean? All right, Mark. Now that we have those last two questions done, Last Day of Sun comes out November 3rd. It's probably already out. Nuclear Blast. You could pre-save, order, whatever. You got a tour coming out with Devil Masters.
Devil Master.
And then you have Final Gasp. Yeah. And that's
Final Gasp opening, us in the middle, and Devil Master closing. It's going to be awesome. Do not fucking miss this. It will be pure evil.
And if you're listening to us across the pond, you'll see Mark and the boys in January, correct?
That is correct.
Awesome.
Still not announced yet, so this might be the first.
Well, you guys better hurry up. You got 2 weeks.
We got one festival announced over there, but all UK, we're coming for you. We're
Awesome.
trying to figure out Wales right now. I want to hit everywhere.
Nice. Well, you can do it. You can do anything at this particular point, Mark.
Yeah, thank you.